Hey, wealth warriors. Are you ready to redefine wealth and master your money mindset? Welcome to Women of Wealth. I'm your Gen X host, Holly Woods Gray.
And I'm your millennial host, Ali Ramo.
Today, we'll be talking to Unison Frances of Go Goddess Organizing about getting organized to make money.
We've both known Unison since before the inception of Go Goddess, and we're so excited to be sharing her business and skills with our Women of Wealth audience. So, Unison, to start us off, can you introduce yourself and give our listeners a little background about you?
Sure. Hello, I'm Unison Frances. I own and operate Go Goddess Organizing down here in San Diego, California. My clients call me the guru of what's got to go because I lean towards the woo woo side of how clutter affects our everything, how our stuff affects our stuff, and starting this business, I just want to say, a big thank you to everyone like at Appreciation Financial and things like that. Because before I was the guru of what's got to go, I was a school teacher for 22 years. And leaving that was tough. But knowing that my retirement, my pension, everything was taken care of, and knowing my numbers was so helpful in helping me follow a passion for this next part of my adventurous life.
Absolutely. Unison and I have been friends for a very long time, and we have been through many journeys together. And one of those journeys was sitting down, reviewing her pension. I was brand new in the business. She was one of my very first clients, and thankfully, she said yes whenever I said, "Hey, can I practice on you?" And she liked what she saw, and we were able to help her out. So I appreciate you mentioning that because we do go way back. And in the very beginning, I asked a lot of my friends that are teachers to let me sit down with you and show you what we do and see if it's something that can help you as well. So let's get into it. So, what does organization mean? Is it a feeling or a look?
Well, it's totally both. Now, with a title like Go Goddess Organizing, I really specialize in helping women because women are affected by clutter differently than men. And for women, it is a feeling and a look. Like the feeling is, the clarity and lightness. That's the feeling that you get like when you walk into like a hotel room that's been curated with nothing in it, right? And then also just that look, how it affects us. We are, diffuse awareness creatures going back to caveman, cavewoman. And when we see so many things that either need to be done or are distracting, it pulls our focus. So it's both.
So, pulling your focus, it can really affect your life and your business. Can you share some of the ways being unorganized can affect people personally and professionally?
Well, 100%. I mean, if your home's a mess, if your office is a mess, chances are your mental clutter is matching that, your business is matching that. I often say, like, if your home office was an assistant or was someone that you would hire, would you enjoy working with them? What would you say on their review? Would you say that they are a joy to work with and inspirational, or are they messy and disorganized and are like just if that was you, someone who worked for you, would that work for you?
Well, that's
And
interesting
the
that you
answer is probably
mentioned
no.
desks.
Well, yeah, like what is it? Clarity of mind, clarity of desk, my desktop even, So how when we think about what is it? Decision fatigue.
Mm.
Some of the great minds we know of would wear the same thing or eat the same things to cut out decisions, because every little decision, everything is pulling energy, pulling from us, right? So if we are looking for that right pen all the time or looking for that piece of paper, you know or cataloging where that is in our head. Oh, I know my desk is a mess, but I know where everything is. Oh, that's
That's
pulling your
me.
energy. That's pulling your energy and focus. I like to think of how I got started in this is I'm a songwriter. And I always used to say, my muse is a snob. She needs a deadline and a clean surface to work from. She needs a clean area because I get pulled, I get distracted. Maybe I'm ADHD too, like, oh, squirrel, oh, pillow. But I can't focus on something if everything around me isn't where it needs to be. So instead of surrounding ourselves with, triggers, let's surround ourselves with glimmers, just things that light us up. It feels so different when, we have things on our desk that we love, our favorite water bottle, versus, oh my gosh, I can't find, anything. So yes, the answer is it really affects your business. How much time, energy, money, for sure.
So,
Maybe
what
one
would
of
you
the
say
help.
are some of the most common organization challenges you see women face, other than their desk, of course?
I think the big ones that I see women facing are the fact that women really can do it all. So they try to do it all, and they don't have to do it all. So there's so much going on that almost nothing gets done, you know? And then we analysis paralysis too is another big one. Like, oh, I don't know anything about paperwork. I'll say this, I don't know anything about my finances, my retirement. So you're an ostrich and you put your head in a hole instead of getting the help, getting the support. You don't have to be the one who knows everything. You can look to advisors and people who can help you. But get your head out of the hole and hold yourself up high and figure it out. So, knowing what papers you do need to keep, knowing where you should keep them, and holding yourself to that, coming up with a system that really supports you on that instead of just, oh, I think I should have been keeping all my receipts, so I'm going to shove them in a bag and do nothing with it. And 5 years later, you've still got a bag of receipts. Find out. Your intuition is an amazing guide. It's just like, what is that thing that keeps coming up in that mental catalog of yours? Like mine the other day was, I should be using my credit card that has the highest point return. Which one is it? And I just thought of that a few times. Instead of like just pulling out random credit cards from my wallet, I was like, which one has the highest points? Which one am I getting the most rewards from? It took me 7 minutes. I timed myself 7 minutes to like log on, find out. And I'm like, oh, and then I just put a little like heart on that card. I'm like, that's the one you use to get the most points. Let's go to the Bahamas. It's just little things. Follow your intuition. You want to go to the Bahamas?
I love that. Well, and it sounds like there's a theme here of the analysis paralysis and decision fatigue that both have scenarios that you're making decisions for. Because the analysis paralysis is you've got too many decisions to make, and so you just don't make any. And then decision fatigue um, is in the same boat. And I think it's really interesting that you talk about physical things too, because we're in the digital age. So something I struggle with personally is my photos in my phone, that they are like half of them I probably don't care about and will never be looking for, but yet they sit in this black hole on my phone. Can you talk about how people can declutter? Do you use any certain tools to declutter digitally?
The answer is there's an app for that. There's an app for that. I'm sure. I don't know the photo one off the top of my head, but there is like, there's an app for culling your apps or your pictures on your phone. But I do use a few apps that I really like to help with clutter. One is Paper Karma. A lot of my clients are senior citizens, and they seem to be on every mailing list known to man. I mean, they're getting so much mail daily that it just piles up. And so Paper Karma is one where you can scan the address and it'll pull you off of the mailing lists. So I really like that one. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about mail because that is something that I like to do. I don't check my mail daily. I only check my mail when I know I have time to deal with it, because the mailbox is a great place to store things until you have time to deal with it. And then I set aside time. Okay, now it's time to go through it. And then even before I get into my door, I sit by the recycling can and like half of this isn't even worthy of my space, you know? And then I'll go through with Paper Karma, take myself off some lists, and then go through the latest food and wine magazine that I wanted to read. That's it. Another app that I use, mostly because I have a service based business, you might like this too. Everlance. So it is always running in the background and it tracks my mileage for me. So I don't have to think about it until like one day a month. I set myself down and say, oh, I did have an appointment that day. Where did I go? Oh, there's my mileage. Great. There it is. So those help me out small business wise. There's always a tool. One of my friends said recently, it's not how. Don't figure out how to do something. It's who can help you. A lot of times it's an app or an AI these days or a person. So instead of spreading ourselves so thin, like women so often do, especially small business owners, let's find the resources. Let's use our web. Let's use our vast, our superpower of women, and get it done together.
Absolutely. So it sounds like you have some great digital tools to put in place. And also some physical tools to put in place, like with your mail. But what are some other practices that you habitually use daily, weekly, or monthly to keep you organized as a wife, business owner, mother of two?
I have two kids. Oh my god. Yeah. No. Yes.
Siblings, your father's getting older, all those
I
things.
know. Everything, right? That's the thing. We have this like even though we're out doing all of these other things, it's like the home responsibilities still oftentimes fall to the women. And so one practice that I have is I just have a bye-bye box in the garage. It is nothing special. It is just whatever Amazon box came. And if I see something in my home that's outlived its welcome, it goes in the bye bye box. Now, am I allowed to pull things out of the bye bye box? Of course I am. I can do whatever I want. But when that box is full, I send it to the Goodwill. And I really look at my things through the lens of, is this worthy of being in my space? I don't live in the biggest home. But I love where we are. And so I want this home to work with us. And so I've set boundaries, like natural boundaries of the house. This is the cabinet that my cups can fit in. If I'm trying to squeeze more cups in there than fit, something has got to give. So looking at the natural boundaries of the space, buying more plastic bins is not the answer. Um, Looking at what you have, and then as I pull out cups and glasses, there's always something that I'm willing to get rid of. So just like shedding is very important. And yeah, that's kind of the lens. I look at things through mental energy, physical energy, and emotional energy. Like, is it taking any of that from me or is it giving it to me?
How do you support your children in that process? Because
Okay.
my son seems to never want to let go of any of his Legos. So we tend to have like a million Legos. And he does play with them. He uses them regularly, but really he cannot use a million Legos.
Okay, so if Legos are like his only thing that he's hanging on to, let that be the thing that he absolutely loves and hangs on to it. Like it could be a lot worse. Legos are fantastic. But I grew up, I'm Gen Z, I'm Gen X too, and one thing that I kind of remember, love my parents, but it was like go to your room, clean your room, and there was like no guidance in it, and it was a punishment. Clean your room. Don't come out of there until your room is clean. And so there's an association with that, almost like cleaning my room is a punishment. And it's not. Like now, when I clean my room and I feel so good when it's clean, right? So I'm trying to instill that in my children. Like, you deserve to live in a clean space. Do you want to clean it all the time? No, nobody wants to clean their room all the time. But it is on the reverse how it feels. My sons have a lot of plastic little toy crap things. They just do. Like, I don't know how it comes in the house, like birthday parties, school things, like I don't know. And so we have set up like they have like bins and things in their room. And one of my youngest son often says to me, "Mom, will you help me clean my room?" And I say, "Yes, of course I will. Let's do it." And I try to make it fun. It's not a punishment. And they really surprised me this Christmas. Before Christmas, I said, we got to clear some stuff out so that there's room for, they've been good this year. They weren't going to get any coal. I was pretty sure. So stuff was going to come in. I said, let's make room for what's going to come in that's new. And they got rid of a lot more than I thought they would. And so just sitting with them and going through the process, and they are at stages where they outgrow things faster than I think my mama heart thought. I'm like, oh, you're 7 and 8. Oh, you're done with the all the board books are gone, right? Okay, well, I'm gonna keep a few in the, like that one's really special to me. So just watching and encouraging them to shed.
Yeah, we do that. I think we need to do it more often because I think that twice a year isn't enough for our situation.
Right.
But you're right about those little gifts that they get from birthday parties or from like Dave and Buster's or something like that. It's like, how many snap bracelets do you really need? And they don't even work after the first, hour of playing with them anyway. So
Well, and that's really interesting just to watch how it is about the procurement or the getting of the item. Oftentimes that's the excitement. And then do we even need to bring that home? Like, hey, yeah, you just got 78 tickets or whatever it took to buy that thing. Where's the joy? Is the joy in that, or is the joy in the thing bringing home? Because gosh, we are adding so much plastic to our landfills. And I swear it's all Dave and Buster's and Chuck E. Cheese's fault.
I am really happy. Like my niece and nephew, I watched them this last year. My sister did the exact same thing as you, and I went to their house one day, and there was just like chaos by their front door. And I'm like, what is happening? And she goes, that's their toy room that they're getting rid of. Like it was all the things. And I was like, oh, my heart. It made me feel so good. And to walk into their toy room and like, it just felt that like it felt different than had I come over 2 months prior and it was like a hurricane went through there. So I can, but to get back to like women in business, I can totally see how that translates. I mean, right now I'm looking at my desk and it looks like a hurricane happened on my desk. But like you said, I do know where 95% of the things are. Um, but when I do clean it up and I do organize like the paperwork into files, whereas like this is a to do file or like this is a done file, I do feel less like anxious or like that I have things on my plate, even though I may have the same number of things on my to do list, but my desk just gives me a different feeling. So I really like that. I think it is part of the, um, analysis paralysis of, and I like your mailbox. Like, I think that it's like, it's such an easy
Right.
storage space that we don't think about. No one's making you pull from your mailbox every day. The mailman doesn't care. So why don't we kind of utilize our spaces the same way?
Mhm.
So I'm curious, do you have any organizational tips that women business owners, as far as like organizing their business, whether it's files or books or something like that? Do you have like a resource? Do you use Pinterest to get ideas from things? Do you have sort of yeah, a resource for women to organize their office space or their place of business?
Um, I want to talk. You said two things real quick, and I wanted to say that back to the kids, the clarity will promote creativity. If we have
Mm,
27 coloring books and you have to like dig through the coloring books to find the one you want, the kids aren't going to color. But if you have one coloring book, they're going to color. So clarity equals creativity, and that is what I feel equals women in business too. Maybe sometimes searching for all the tools and the office supplies and things like that is not the answer. It's the clarity of mind that is going to create the the most amazing business idea. So I think that our biggest tool is sitting on the top of our heads, and we need to use that more. Another thing that I love for women in business is, like you had mentioned, a to-do list or having a lot of to-do things. I have a to-do to-da list, and it is, I'll show you. Um, so here's an example of it. So it just says to do to da, right? And then here we write down to do. What is that task? And then when it is done, instead of just crossing it out on the to da side, right? Like what that did for your business. what that did for
Mm.
you today. And it's amazing how our tasks, our little tasks transform into like, oh, wow, okay, I posted on social, okay, post on social media today, but no, I am growing a following. I'm changing the world. People are watching what I'm doing, and it feels good. So that's, I mean, an easy thing. You can do that with any piece of paper, or you could do it. My gosh, what is this? So, or you could do it in the planner, that I created. I think July might be home offices. So you got to jump in with me on the planner before then. But we're doing paperwork in March, paperwork and digital in March. And I would say breaking it up into um, small manageable chunks and just doing a little when you can. Like, I hope this podcast inspires people that when they're hearing it, while they're listening, they can clean off their desk. You could while you're like watching your favorite TV show, you could be going through a drawer. It doesn't have to be all time consuming to get a little bit more organized.
Mm.
Yeah, I think that's a really great point because recently, we moved into this big house and we haven't filled it all up yet, but I'm doing a pretty good job with it. So there was some areas that were kind of like landing areas for like Jackson's school stuff. It was just kind of stacked up, wasn't really in the way. But recently, I went through all of that stuff and got rid of it because I mean, some of it was from when we first moved here. It was in like second or third grade. It's like I definitely don't need those spelling words anymore. He either knows how to spell them or he doesn't, but now he pretty much types everything. So it's in spell check. You know what I mean? So I think that that's really powerful. I want to also talk about another thing that I think business owners, especially females, fall into with their cars. So usually us female business owners, we might be commuting a lot. We might be in our car a lot. It can turn into like our on the go office. So do you have any tips or do you have like any boundaries in that area that you could share with the group?
I do. Thank you. I fall into that same category. I see clients. I have 2 appointments a day, one in the morning and one in the afternoon. I have a big break in the around lunchtime, and I am in my car all the time. So I splurged $19 a month on an unlimited car wash package, and I got it for a place that's like near the Goodwill donation drop off that I really like to go to, and because I also drop off for my clients, right? So So I go there and I vacuum out my car and I make sure like the front of the car, like the place where like we ride in the car. I have a big Toyota Highlander. My car is clean and it feels good to me. And then so I do that probably once every 2 weeks, if not once a week. I go get my car washed. And there is something about I love water. Water is like there's something about I'm a fire sign, but for some reason I love car washes and showers and baths, the ocean. But being in the car wash, like with the lights and the sound, I don't know, it's a treat for me. So I treat it as a moment of joy, and I'm taking care of a possession that really helps me out and supports me. So taking care of my car, keeping it clean, emptying the trash out. Now you're probably talking about files and things in the car too.
Files
I
could be, but I'm not necessarily talking about that. I'm talking about like how it becomes the mobile trash can, how it becomes the mobile, like for me personally, I take my kid to school in the morning and then my husband picks him up in the afternoon. However, in between there, I might be at a school. I might have a luncheon that day. I might have a back box of chips in the back of my car for 3 weeks because I just didn't take the time to open it up and move it to somewhere else. You know what I mean? So it's like, for me, it's not necessarily the files because I learned a lesson on that a long time ago. I had a car broken into and they stole something out of my car, which was no value to them, but was major value to me, which was my Weight Watchers book. I mean, I had all the little stamps in it, I had all my recipes, and it didn't make a big deal for me. But like in my business, I can't leave files in my car because
no.
if somebody steals those, that's somebody's information. Somebody's social security number could get stolen. So in my business, that's not really a problem for me. And I hope it's not for any of my agents either, because that's a big deal. But I'm talking more about how it just becomes like, oh, I just ate on the run. So now there's a bag of whatever food I ate, or, oh, there's like some dirty spoons or forks in there if I did my meal planning and all that. So I was talking more about that kind of stuff. I love that idea of having the wash, the automatically go 2 weeks, every 2 weeks, just put it in your calendar, or just, put it as a priority for yourself. I like that a lot.
It has to be. It has to be. You have to start thinking of like that as a tool, and you have to like sharpen your tools and keep your tools clean and things like that. And then, I mean, I've gotten in friends' cars before, and there's times when I have a few Starbucks cups lined up, and it just happens. I'm a beverage goblin, so you know that kind of thing. It does pile up, and it feels different. It feels different, and kids, they have no filter. I've picked up some of my my boys' friends, and they're like, "Your car is a mess."
You're like, yes, it is.
Yeah, today it is. Today it is. And no, and giving yourself grace and ease too, because some days your car is going to be a mess, and then you go and get it washed. It's a season too. So, but if like your kids are leaving stuff in your car all the time, that, like for us, you know, some days I back in and then open up the garage door, and that's when they put their stuff away. Zion's got his soccer bag constantly, and we have to keep it out because we use two different cars, just like you. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
dad left and he has your soccer bag. What's going to happen? So it is teaching responsibility too.
I love that your
Absolutely.
car wash is also next to the Goodwill that you're like periodically going to just because you're dumping either your stuff or your client's stuff. So then it's not that you have to even think like, oh, I gotta go get my car wash. It's like, okay, Goodwill car wash.
Goodwill
And
car wash, nail place, and Panera. So it's like it's a little like hour of self like
It's a
indulgence.
trifecta.
yes. Something I also do is I have a mini trash can that goes in a cup holder, and it goes in like the passenger door cup holder. I don't usually have passengers because I've got like the middle console and the door cup holders. So when I have like gum wrappers or whatever, it goes in the little trash bag and that or little trash can, and then every time I go to the get gas, which is often because I'm driving around San Diego County all the time,
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, that I just empty that trash can. And so that keeps the little like wrappers and things like that. Um, but I drink out of a hydro flask water bottle, so I don't have the water bottle issues. But I've definitely gotten in cars where the water bottles, and that's not going to fit in the mini trash can.
No.
Yeah, that happens sometimes for me. I have to like pull over, get gas, and dump like 2 or 3 water bottles, because I just like, sometimes I use my water, or my plastic conservative water bottle, and sometimes I'm on the go and just grab what I can. Before we jump into the lightning round, oh yeah,
Can I
I
say
want
one
to
more thing
talk.
about this?
Oh yes, please
Okay,
go.
I just want to say that I love like just the conversation around our cars and how we have three different systems and three different things because everyone is personalized. So anything we're going to say today might work or it might not work, but it's all about finding what actually works for you,
Hmm.
and creating like joy or a system or reward. What really does work for everyone individually because we are all so different.
So before we get to that lightning round, which we're almost to, I just want to ask you about your system for cleaning out closets, clothes, like hanging clothes, clothes that go in drawers. I mean, I have my own system. However, I think I could use some assistance on that as well.
Okay. So people, okay, if you know me, if you've seen me out and about, I have a wild wardrobe, and people are always saying, "Oh, your closet must be so amazing." And the real thing is, I have a very small closet that I actually share with my husband. So it is all about just curating like exactly what you love and holding on to the things that make sense for you. Now, what is worthy of taking up our space, right? Have you seen like when the closet world they show their ads for it, and it's like before and it's crammed full of like everything, and then they show after and it's like got five shirts hanging and three pairs of pants, and you're like, come on. And they're all neutral colored. You're like, that is not real. It's not real, but we are responsible for what is worthy to be in our space. So for me, I've changed sizes, right? I'm not the only one. Every like people grow, they shrink. And there are some clothes I'm like, oh, I don't want to get rid of those. I'm going to fit back into those. Okay, fine. But they don't need to be a daily reminder in my closet. If the pants are 2 sizes or more smaller than what I am right now, I don't need to look at them. They bring up like, oh, guilt or whatever, shame. So those go in a box, they go in the garage. Great. When the Weight Watchers thing kicks in, great. Let's pull those up. Let's go shopping. But I don't need to be daily reminded. What I need to do when I open up my closet is see every opportunity of joy that I want to dress today. I organize by sleeve length and because everything it looks like a clown threw up in my closet. So it's not by color necessarily. It's by sleeve length, and then I, same thing by weight. So sleeve length, short sleeve, no sleeve, long sleeves, sweaters, and then I have gowns. I have an insane amount of gowns. I need to go lay on a top of pianos a lot more often than I do, apparently, for all my sequin gowns that I own.
How
And then
about shoes?
you know what, Holly? I don't wear as many heels as I used to. And they all found wonderful homes, I'm sure, with women who are wearing them. So I have shoes. I keep them pretty organized. I have this tray from IKEA that like pulls out. They don't make it anymore, but I just helped a client who was really into shoes do a whole top shelf of shoes with they're clear plastic containers, but they open so you can pull out the shoes. It looked gorgeous.
That's amazing.
I don't fold my pajamas or workout clothes. I have bins. I'm going to show you the bins.
So you're going to need to, if you're listening to this, you're going to have to watch it on YouTube so you can see
Never
it.
mind. Okay.
You can show us. You can show us. I'll describe it. So these are very colorful, fun bins. She probably got it at, I don't know, maybe at
the
the
container store,
container store.
Because I actually don't have drawers. So all of my clothes fit in the closet. And
Oh.
Okay.
I have
So those were her pajamas?
Pajamas. Her pajamas and her workout clothes go in these. They're kind of like
This is
cloth
it.
bins.
This is the only t-shirts I own. They're all folded.
Nice.
They're folded in the Marie Kondo style.
I noticed.
You can see the t-shirts, not one white, not one plain t-shirt in the box, right?
The reason why I asked Unison about shoes is because we had one night, I was married, she wasn't married yet. She was in search of, and we went out, we had a few beverages, and then we thought it was going to be a great idea to drive to Vegas.
The one girl who wasn't drinking, yes.
Yes. Yeah. Drive to Vegas, right? Okay. And then we made it all the way to Hesperia. And then when we got to Hesperia, we decided we were going to go the next day to back home. And there's this spa along the way. It's called Glen Ivy. It's like a mud bath and all that kind of stuff. Unison brought tons of shoes for us and bathing suits, and that's it. Basically, if we would have made it to Vegas, we would have had to go shopping for sure.
All we had, bathing suits and high heels.
That's all you need for Vegas.
Thank you.
It was the middle of the winter. Anyway, it was fun. That's why I was asking her about her shoes. It was so fun. So fun.
All right.
All right. Well, let's get to that lightning round.
All right. Lightning round. So quick answers. Cash or credit?
I love credit because you can track it, your expenses. And like I said, points. You go to the Bahamas, you pay it off every month. You're great. But you get those points and you have that record of what you spent your money on.
Real estate or stocks?
Both. Diversify.
If you won $1 million today, what would be the first thing you'd do with the money?
First, I wouldn't tell anybody. What's $1 million these days, you guys?
Right?
A down payment on a new business.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I would have to do some research and contact a lawyer. That's what I would do.
There you go. Franchise your business.
Yes. What's a fun impulse buy you've recently had?
Okay, it wasn't an impulse buy. It was a gift. I mentioned in a live that I did that I am your decluttering cheerleader, and a client sent me some hot pink pom-poms.
Oh, those are cute.
I mean, that's on brand or what, right?
So cute. What is a money saving tip you swear by?
If you feel like you need something, put it in the cart for a day or two and just sit on it and see if, like, just, no impulse buys, like,
Mm.
as you said. I buy things intentionally. So I think about it for a day. Sorry, this is turning into not lightning, but think about it for a day and then see if you have something that will work instead.
I like
Good
that.
tip.
What's your biggest financial fear?
That my husband will die, that no one needs an organizer, that my rentals burn to the ground. Um, I mean, you know what?
3 of them.
Honestly, everything's kind of taken care of, really. Like, I don't have a lot of financial fears that are, I mean, those sound big, but
Hey, in California, having rental houses burned down, that's a real fear.
yeah.
Seriously. Okay, what's your biggest financial goal for the next year?
I want to sell 1,000 planners.
Okay, let's help her with that.
Tell us how
Unison,
we can find you. Yeah, tell us
what
how we
Oh,
can
it's
find
all
you.
well, we're gonna put some links in here, but this is the 2025, the year she let it go planner, the decluttering with grace and ease, one room at a time. It's on Amazon. Do impulse buy this, okay?
I love it. I bought this from Unison at our last eWomen event, and it's so cool. I was looking through it, and I'm like, okay, what friends want to do this with me? I'm still looking for friends who want to do it with me. So if you're out there, let me know.
That,
Um,
or
You
we
should come.
have a community that you can join. Yeah, I have a community that goes along with it, and I can be your friend.
okay. Well, we need to talk then. But I love it. It goes week by week, small things, so it's not overwhelming. It's super realistic. And like Unison, you said earlier about you can do things while you watch TV. It really does. It's a baby steps thing, and
It
it's
is.
all about the small habits that you create. And so this is a really good guide to create those habits.
And I would recommend going on a road show with eWomen. Unison, you'll sell more than 1,000 if you do that. I went to every one of Sandra's summits in 2023, and it helped me make a lot of money. I got so many affiliates from that. I had over 600 people join my team. And if I had something physical I was selling, I probably would have easily sold 1,000 of them.
I
So
love
we can
that.
talk more about that.
Okay, great.
Thank you so much, Unison. This was so
Thank
fun. I learned a few
you.
things. I got some new apps to download, and I just really appreciate you being open. I love what you're doing, and I think everybody has room in their life to have some decluttering going on. So thank you.
I think so too. And this is 2025. It's the year of the snake. It's the year to shed.
Woo! It's
Good.
your
I like
year.
that.
It's the year
It's
to
your year to
shed.
shed. Year to shed.